Hello guys, my name is Ismas. Today, this is a test live stream. So there might be a few issues, but bear with me. And what I want to do is create some IKEA furniture for my archviz. Let me reduce the sound here a bit. For my archviz pack. Because I'm selling 3D models and I'm thinking maybe I should do some furniture here. Yeah, so let's test out making this seat here and maybe some of the assets that you see here, the other objects that you see in here, and see how that goes. Just make sure everything is running as expected. And make sure let me see. Yes, I will just save this to my computer. Where's the background image? And get it in Blender and bring back some music here. And hello George Leo, how are you doing? Just drag this in here and change this to UV editor. Bring this as the reference image. Now, so let's see how we can approach this. I don't know if my sound is clear or my audio is clear, but I hope it is. So let's begin by making this chair. I think we can do a few things here. We can start by making this back support here, and then yeah. So if we let me just drag the image directly here into the 3D space. And just to get the scale of things, I'll just bring this in, rotate 90 degrees, and can turn random colors on. That's nice to hear, George. I'm also doing great. So we just need to get the shape right and select these vertices, drag them down a bit, and add a loop around here. And let's see, can select this bottom loop, drag it up a bit, and add a loop here as well. Push that forward as well a bit, add another one here. Push that, and if we turn on subdivision surfaces, and extrude this out, we get something like this. So we just need to add some supporting loops. I think we can use the mirror modifier here as well. Just select these faces, delete them, and add a mirror modifier. Make sure it's above the subdivisions, and we can add a supporting loop around there and around there and at the bottom like that. To make this a bit rounded, maybe instead of using supporting loops like that, we can just bevel these loops instead. Maybe remove these supporting loops as well. We can select that, all these loops, and then Control B So they will act as supporting loops for those sides, but they will also round off those corners. Let me bring back the music a bit. Can also turn on small shading here. And we can start, I think, to work. I think this is a good shape, I think. So maybe we can just pull this, rotate this a bit, maybe push it back a bit, and pull these forward a bit as well. So for these, I don't know how they're called. We can add, so there are 5. So you just need 2 here, 2 loops here, and we can turn off subdivision surfaces for now, and also apply the mirror modifier so that we can easily bevel these loops here. So we need 1. Let me see. We need first the middle one, and then 2 on each side, like that. I think we need to push these loops a bit. So we can just work on this side only, because we are going to be using the mirror modifier for this side. So we bevel that, and then you use your middle mouse wheel to add in more cuts. And we can go under the settings and change the profile. Reduce the sound a bit, increase, change the profile to make sure it's a circle, and you can reduce what's the amount a bit, and zoom in. So this is what we have so far. I think we can add a few loops here. So if we make a cut here and here, and then a cut here and around there, then that connects like this. I'm just experimenting to see the best way we can approach this. So we only need to do 3 here, and then we will use the mirror modifier for this side here. So let's see how that goes. Then add a loop there, cut there like that, and then cut, and then cut. So we have something like that. Now we can add a loop like here, and maybe connect it like that, and also just to reduce on the size of this n-gon, like that. And now I think we can also connect these like this, like this. We have 2 vertices here. I'll just need 1 like that, then like that. Then maybe join this to that, like that, and then select, also make sure this is also connected. Then select this middle vertex, make sure this is also connected. Just need to select this middle vertex, and hit also these like this. Let's turn on the subsurf again to see what we are doing. Then push that in a bit, not too much. Just something like that. But remember, we're going to be using the mirror modifier, so I can delete this side and bring back the mirror modifier. So if you want, you can sculpt this, but I want to keep a very low polygon count and have control of my polygon flow. So that's why you see that I'm modeling these simple details here, and they're quite simple. They're not that complicated, that you can model that yourself instead of sculpting or using other methods to achieve that. So let's first turn off the mirror modifier and the subsurf for a second. And I think, let me see, we can also join this to this and this to that, like that. Let me see if we add a loop cut here that joins a cut there and there, and push this in as well, this vertex as well, push it in like that. Let's see what we get. Not bad, not bad. Just save this IKEA seat. And now I can also pull this outside a bit. And we can also select these edges, slide them a bit, and also pull them out. And so we have something like that. Let me turn on cavity in the overlays, just to see that coming out even more. You can also extend this just a bit so that they are not uniform. And if you want, you can come in. Let me first turn off subsurf and then bevel this edge as well. I change the profile to be a circle. You can use the shortcut Shift Alt S1 to turn this into a circle. But I think instead of doing that, we'll just use a UV sphere and we'll just place it there, because that is just adding a lot of unnecessary vertices. I think this has a lot of thickness, so we can just select these and push them inside a bit like that. And for this area here, we can select this loop, Shift D, duplicate it, and then P to separate it. So we have the profile for our seat like that, and now we just need to come in. So this is it here, and you can start extending it. So I think it comes around here and then drops here, then extends like this. So there are a lot of different ways you can approach this. I'm just going with a non-conventional way. I'm just trying it in a different way that I've never done it before. So I think we can also extrude this to follow this to around there. And let me see at the bottom here, we can merge them like that. So select this and this. Now we would have something like that. Now this loop here that we have created can be the loop that is making the profile here. So I think we can also push these like this, and we need more resolution here, so we can use Ctrl B to bevel that edge and change the profile and increase. Hello Thomas, how are you? And increase the polygon count like that, and maybe extend these a bit like there. I think these also need to come forward around here, and so we can, let me see if I grab these. Let me first extend here. If I grab these here, just make sure not to add too much detail when you're creating the profile, so that it's easier for you to edit. So if we do this, let me first turn off subsurf. If I extrude this something like this, so we have made one, two, three, four extrusions. So we can also come here and do the same. So one, go to the side view, then two, push it out. I think this shouldn't be that large, so we will obviously come back and make edits. We can so grab these vertex and move them around just a bit. Select this. We can also go to top view. Just we're making this fold here, so I think if we do this and that, we can use this tool here to straighten those vertices, bring them back like that. Now we can simply select these loops here, because you see they start out, this part here starts out large and then becomes smaller as we go to the back. So we can also scale it down a bit and push it inwards and like that, and we just need to connect it to this here, so we can move these vertices around so that they align with that. So connect this to that. Yeah, we are going to need some more resolution here, or we need to slide this here so that is at an angle that we can easily rotate. Go to edit mode and something like that. Select this edge, connect it with that, and select this edge, connect it with that, and I think we need to pull this edge around there. And basically if we turn back this, you can see what we have. And yeah, so this is not, I'm trying very different ways to make these, because if I do this in a regular way, I don't think I'll be teaching you anything new, or I'll be learning anything new myself. I think this also, but let's just continue this. So we need to create this inside part, so we just select this loop, and let me go to wireframe, extrude it around there, then like that, then around there to there. If you want, you can just extrude again, and make sure you have clipping turned on for the mirror modifier, and make sure that the mirror modifier is above the subdivision, and bring that, join that, so that we have something like that. And also we need to select these loops up to around here, extrude, and then I guess extrude back, and we can flatten this or move it so that it follows this profile here. So move the vertices around so that they follow this profile like that, and we can come in and add more resolution like that, and maybe even move these vertices to the back like so. So something like that. And you know what, I think we won't be using this part, so let's hide it for a second. We can just use this, we can use a single mesh for this. So I can extrude this, and I will add those I don't know how they're called, we'll add them on this mesh directly. So let's see, so we need to join this area here as well, this and this, and let's see what else. So maybe select these, go to front view, and follow this profile here, so something like that. Maybe you can rotate it as well. I think we can bring back this just to follow that profile we made previously. Extrude, then extrude around there, something like that. If you want, you can add a loop there and select this here, push it out a bit, and push this out as well. Then we need to connect this, so we can bring this, select this face and this, so that they level up with this hand rail. So select this and connect it with that. So we need a few cuts here so that we don't end up with an end gun, so we can add a loop here. Make sure that the flow is still there, so we can push those two like that and then pull that out. I think can also do the same here, and we can connect this with this and then this with that, and we have something that looks like that. I think we also need this is too straight for me, so we can move these vertices around. If you hit G twice, you can move the selected vertices along the vertex you have selected, along the edges they're connected to. I think we can also delete these bottom vertices and see how we can connect this bottom part and that top part. So we can add a loop here, and then maybe add 2 loops around here. And we can select that and hit and use the shortcut Alt S to give it that kind of volume around there. Kendra Love, how are you? Yes, yeah, 2.8 is very different. It's almost a different application. If you haven't used Blender 2.2, if you haven't used Blender in general for a while, you might actually you may not even know that this is Blender. Yeah, it's totally different. But I think it's really different in a really good way. So let's turn on subsurf and see how this looks so far. I think this should also should be a bit, because this is full growing outside up in this direction, so we need to do the same. Maybe rotate these vertices around like this. I think we can also remove this, because this was to guide us in the profile, making the profile. So now we need to fix a few things here. We can add yeah, it is like learning a new program, mostly if you haven't been using Blender for a while. But if you get into it, you only need to make a few models, and you get used to the application, to the new interface, because it gives you now every shortcut has been given every shortcut we have been using has been given a an icon here. So whatever you used as a shortcut, you can access it as an icon here, which makes it easier for people who don't remember the shortcuts or who are not very familiar with the shortcuts. We need to find a way to connect this. Let me see, you can connect this with this. And should I add, let me first remove this loop here and bring that like that. I think I can bring this back. Yeah, because of the dark theme, yeah, it does look like Maya's. It looks a bit like Maya, that is true. Let's mirror this. Turn on small shading. We have a few issues here, so that we can just recalculate the normals. Just select everything and then hit Shift N, and I should recalculate that for you. So we need to follow this up here, so that we can do with let's first continue. Let me see this profile here. So if we selected, let me grab this and this, and first, because I think it bends out a bit. So if we selected these vertices around here, we can rotate them, and so that this is angled a bit, and we can remove these vertices because I was using that as a guide. So we can select this up to here and then extrude that a few times. So we can extrude this up to around there. Let me use the shear tool and see if this will help. So if you hold Control and then right click, you can extrude in by clicking anywhere you want the extrusion to be. So let's see if we just need to move now these vertices around like so. I think we also need to follow this bend a bit, so we can select this and rotate that and then push that out, and maybe we can also bring them back a bit by rotating that like that. Now let's turn off subsurf and mirror and see how to connect this. So I can connect this with this, and I need a loop here. Connect this with this. You see this loop here. I don't want to connect it directly. I think I need to recalculate normals for this area and a few areas here. So we are going to bend this loop here instead of just bringing it all the way or connecting it anywhere here. We're just going to add a loop. Just cut here and then here and then here. I'll connect this with this and this with that. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, I see what's going on. I see. We are not supposed to connect this like that, so we just need to delete all the vertices around here. This is supposed to be connected to the inside, not the outside, so I need to pull these out like that. And do you like 2.8 better than 2.7? Yeah, I do like I don't think I've used 2.7 again after I started using 2.8. I haven't switched back because mostly because of Blender EV. My computer is very slow. It's not a very nice computer. It's not a very good computer. It's not very fast. So if I try rendering anything in cycles, it can take hours. But if I use Blender EV, things come out quite nicely. Let me see if I can, and you can see some of the renders that I have on my CG Trade account. Let me. It smells VFX. I haven't done anything. I haven't rendered anything in cycles since I started using Blender EV or Blender 2.8. So yeah, I really do like this new version of Blender. So we have, let me see. There is not a lot of resolution here, and I think what I can do is instead of adding a loop here, that would add more resolution to this area that we don't need that. Or maybe do we? Yeah, we can use that resolution, but what I was proposing is make a cut from here to here, here, and then here, and then here, and then rotate it somehow there, so that this loop here that you see here just comes and rotates around here. So to do that, we would need to make a few changes here. But since that we need some more resolution here to make these corners, this corner sharp, we can just leave that like that. Yeah. So what I wanted to show you is that all of these renders, everything you see here, except a few models. Because these are earlier models that I made before 2.8, they are rendered in cycles, but this here is recent. That is all Blender EV. This is also EV. This is EV, EV. I actually tried to render this in cycles, but I think it took a lot of time. No, I think this is cycles. Because Blender EV doesn't handle. I don't know what there was something it wasn't handling very well on this model, so I decided to just use cycles for this. But this is EV. This is also EV. This piece is also EV. Most of my recent models are all made in Blender EV. So let me see. This is EV. No, this is cycles. This is EV. This is cycles. EV. Yeah. So let me show you a scene. I don't know if this is cycles. I think this is cycle. This could be. I'm not sure. This could be EV. Let me see if this is also EV. So if I tried to render something like, let me see, something like this scene, I think this was EV, cycles, sorry. If I tried to render something, if I tried to render something like this in cycles, on my PC, it would take me something like, I don't know, 5 hours, but in EV, it's actually, I just make a screenshot. I don't even render. I just make screenshots and then use Paint to crop them out. You can see even the icons. Let me just show you here. Yeah, I sell them cheaply just because I want to first get an idea of how this works and get a few clients and see. You can see some of the screenshots. You will see that they even have the Blender icons in them because I didn't bother cropping them out. You can see this is directly screenshotted from the application from Blender. So yeah, I haven't used cycles in a while. So let's see what are we doing. We're doing this side. I think, let me see how this extends. I think this fold here can be rotated. Let's bring in the mirror modifier again. Make sure you have clipping turned on, and yeah, so it should fold like that. Let's hide this for a second and add more resolution here and make it, I don't know, should it bend back? I think it should bend back like that. We need more resolution here as well. So I think I have a lot of vertices, polygons around here. I need to find a way to reduce the polygon count for this area here. So let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do for this area, because I don't think this loop here is necessary. So we can grab this, push it down like here, and just redistribute some of these polygons, some of these loops, so that we don't have a really high polygon count on this model. So let's see. Let me hide this background image for a second. Sorry about that, my sound. Ah, God. Okay, hope that was not too bad, but self-taught. Well, it's not really self-taught because I've watched a lot of YouTube tutorials. If that's what you mean, yeah, it's kind of self-taught, but mostly through YouTube tutorials like these. And but I've never really taken a class. Let's see, we need a loop here. Push that. I'm not sure what's wrong with my mic, but it keeps switching off and on, but let's see.